Jimbo's Garage.
Good afternoon, everyone. Welcome back to Jimbo's Garage. Well, I got a short little video for you here today. I had a client of mine come up to me and ask me if I'd be interested in making a picture board. Now, about a year ago, I made something similar to this, roughly 6 feet wide and 8 feet tall, painted nice pastel colors, and they were able to hang a lot of pictures on it for the special event. Now, this is going to be something much smaller, 3 feet wide, 4 feet tall, and it's going to be sitting on a stand that I'm going to make as well. So let's get started on today's video. All right, so we're going to get started by making the stand for this thing, and I think this might be called an easel. I'm not for certain, but it's fairly simple, just by 2x2s I picked up at the Home Depot, and that's all we're going to need. It's going to be like a three-legged stand type of thing. And I'm starting by just cutting the angles. You see I made a little jig for it there. You guys know I'm big on jigs. Jigs are always good to have and make things a lot easier. Now I'm putting this three-legged thing together, and I kind of knew that I was going to have to put a bolt through here, and this bolt may have to be bent, and so that's what I got going. I'm kind of lining it up, and you can see I had a piece of 1/4 inch all thread right here, and I just put a little kink in it there, and then did some measuring and came back and bent the other side in. That's really all I need to make this work. Took it over to the Porta-Band and cut this thing off. You guys remember when you're cutting round stock, it's always nice to put it in a vise like that. Bad things happen. So I'm trying to work my way with this piece of all thread through there. It was a little bit of a challenge at first. I kind of knew it would be. It's kind of hard to drive curved or bent things through holes and try to make everything work the way it's supposed to. So I was banging on a little bit harder than I thought I was going to, so I put the nut on the end. I didn't want to mar the threads any more than I needed to there. And once I got everything all together and tightened things up, actually worked out pretty good. You know, it came together just like I thought it was going to. Again, I just build these things as I go. I don't, there's no plan. It just kind of, I hope they work by the time it's all done. And there it is. It looks like it works pretty good. So just standing it up, and that's the first part of the stand or the easel, and now it's time to put the front part on. Now this is actually the part that's going to be holding the board itself. This is just the first part. I got to get this thing together so it doesn't start coming apart on me. Just clamped it together right there. Make sure everything is somewhat level, and just put a couple screws in there. That was the plan, and along with a couple screws, once I got everything just right and got in there, I put a couple brads in there just for extra measure to hold it in place. And then a piece of flat 1x2 on the very top and just nailed it in. And then to keep it from coming apart, I just put a piece of chain from one side to the other, and there it is. The stand is pretty good. But once I did that, I realized that I had a little knob right there on the very end. Now, I had all kinds of different options. Could have got a saw and cut that off, but hey, my angle grinder was sitting right there, so a little flap disc made short order of that. Now it's time to get the frame built for this thing. Now this is just gonna like a pallet style kind of deal, if you will. I'm just gonna put a 1x4 frame around it, and then we're gonna put some slats in between it. So I'm just cutting the frame part out right now. Once I got that done, it was time for the slats. So I'm cutting these slats out, and you might see a gouge in the wood right there. You know, you can see how I have the marks around the gouge. So it's a good idea when you're doing stuff like this to inspect the lumber before you cut it, especially at certain sizes. If you've got any gouges or nicks, you might try to avoid those if you can. And I'm just gluing this together, a couple brads, on the corners, checking for square, be sure everything is where it needs to be. I'm not too concerned about strength at this point because I know that when I put the slats on and nail those down, it's going to hold everything square. So this thing is going to have about 4 different colors to it. This is the primary color. This is like a white, like a off-white. And this is what, obviously, I'm painting the stand and the frame. And then the slats itself are 3 more additional colors. Just kind of give it a little character, kind of give it a little different look. I'm just following the rules, what the client was asking for right here. I'm not much of a painter. You can see there's probably better ways of doing this, but I got this whole project done in a matter of, I think, a few hours one night and a few hours the next night, and this project was done. You can see I got multiple rollers going right here because I got the different colors that I am painting. I'm trying to get it done as quickly as I can. You know, it takes time for this paint to dry, and then, you know, that's the longest part, believe it or not, is the painting. You know, you got to dry. You got 4 sides to paint, flip them over. You know, if it wasn't for the painting, wouldn't take much time at all. All right, so putting the thing together, I knew I was square, so basically I'm just working my way up the board right here, and I'm spacing it out about 3/4 of an inch, or that might have been a 5/8 spacer right there. And you can see I'm alternating the colors, and I got going along here pretty good. And the next thing you know, whoops, I made a mistake, and I already got off on the colors. So I had to bang a couple boards off, pull a few nails out. You know, these things happen. You know, I just, it's hard to have a project to go perfectly. There we go. Back on track with the color scheme again, and finished nailing things out. Yeah, that all went pretty good, and everything worked out really good space-wise. There it is, complete, that part of it anyway. And so what we have left to do now is to put the wire in. And what I'm using for that is just some, like, not eye bolts, eye screws, I guess, little small ones. And I'm just pre-drilling them and putting them in. Now, these are not spaced equally or evenly. The pictures they have are different size and different shapes, and so I'm trying to give them as much room as I can and much space I can. I've got some distances that are closer together and farther apart than others, but that's the game plan on this. And then just wrapping the wire on. Now, this is just picture frame wire. I got this at the Home Depot. It actually works pretty good, and you can just see how I just looped it around and just threaded it through. There might have been a better way to do it, but you know what? For what we're doing for this is it's going to be really good. And you can just see I just repeated the process all the way down, and that's going to give us the wires so they'll be able to clip the pictures too. There it is, complete. The wires are on. It's on the easel or the stand, and it turned out pretty good. All in all, it was a short little project, good little project, didn't take very long, and that's the beauty about, doing what I do. I enjoy working with my hands. If it's not welding, it's woodworking. I enjoy all of it. Anyways, there it is. The project was complete, and there it is with the pictures on it. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. Thanks for watching. Don't forget to rate, comment, and subscribe for more videos.
See you next time on Jimbo's Garage.